Carson, I think everybody out there would wonder right now, it's a question you heard throughout the off season. A, how is your back, and do you feel any restriction whatsoever when you're moving out there?
Yeah, back feels good. Knee feels good. And I feel about as healthy as I felt in a long time, both physically and mentally. Just being able to take a step back due to the injury the last few years, unfortunately, but it allowed me to see the game from a different perspective. It allowed me to invest a lot of time and energy into my body, into not only getting healthy, but finding ways to stay healthy for hopefully the duration of my career. So I feel really good and ready to go.
So when I watch practice today, I go out there and there's been a lot said in the first few days of camp that you've lost a little bit of weight, your body looks a little bit different. And I think a lot of people thought when you came into pro football that you might end up over the next 3-4 years adding 15, 18 pounds of armor, because a quarterback takes a pretty good beating. But you look like you're going in the opposite direction, a little more wiry and a little, for movement's sake. So tell me why you did that.
Yeah, I wasn't necessarily setting out to lose weight. It was just a byproduct of some of the things I've been doing. But at the end of the day, it's all about how I feel. And by no means do I think I'm now too skinny or anything. I've lost a couple pounds. I'm not making a big deal about that. But just overall being healthier. And just, I think, a lot of mobility, range of motion, everything that maybe comes with, the different, the leaner body and those types of things, I think will help the longevity of my career. And having played a couple seasons now, knowing the rigors of this game, obviously I've gotten hurt a few times, but it wasn't because of not being able to take a hit or anything. I felt more than prepared to take a hit at the weight and the size I was playing at. So I'll be.
Do you feel it all different physically out on the field? Do you feel faster, quicker, or not really?
I think so. But again, I shed the knee brace this year. Another year removed from that, that was its own process. So just, I think that alone allows me to feel less restricted, allows me to feel more like myself, and just quicker, more agile, all those fun things.
Take me into your life last year after you get the back injury, and after you're going to be out for a significant amount of time. Did you have many or any woe is me moments?
That's a good question. I wouldn't necessarily say woe is me, but I was extremely frustrated. I was extremely frustrated and just trying to figure out, what's going on, how did this happen? It was, whereas the knee was such a very isolated incident, things happened. This was just an overtime injury, and and just figuring out, okay, well, what is it? What do I do now? Where do I go from here? And just knowing it was about the same exact week that I had to hang it up for the season, and just the frustration that set in. And so for me, it just took me on a journey of kind of fully surrendering, my career and my game to the Lord, as I always talk about. But it really made me put my faith into action, and just saying that I'm playing for Him, and He's doing all these things for a reason. I don't fully know why, but I'm going to do everything I can to set myself up for success, to stay on the field and to perform at my best going forward. So it took me on a journey, and I think, I feel both mentally and physically in a good place because of it.
How much, if at all, do you look at a guy like Tom Brady, who's about to turn 42, and who has also, whether on purpose or not, kind of gotten wiry, leaner, is Mr. Electrolyte, never puts anything into his body that isn't good. So I wonder, does he stand out in any way as any sort of influence to how you do your physical and nutritional stuff?
I would say, maybe a small bit, but I think, you see everyone has their own thing, and for Tom, he's wrote a book about it, and he's explained it. But everyone that I've kind of talked to or I've met or come across in this business, whether it's a quarterback or someone else in the NFL or even in other professional sports, I think the biggest thing is just finding what works best for you, and sticking with it, from the nutritional side, from the training side, from the PT side, really the whole thing. And so you could say, you look at a guy like Tom and you respect the heck out of him as a player, and you respect his ability to be the way he is still at his age. So there's bits and pieces of that, but it's by no means am I all in on the things he did or somebody else does. But it's just finding what works best for you, and I think that's what has allowed him to be successful and stay the way he has for a long time, and I think that's what hopefully is gonna keep me out on the field as well.
If I can read your mind just a little bit from this training camp practice, I saw one practice. You were out there a good 30 minutes before practice started, just running around, getting loose, talking to guys, having fun. You smiled more than anybody on the field. And you just look like you were back in your element.
Yeah.
Tell me what it is like for you right now, healthy, to be on a football field.
Yeah, it means a lot. Obviously training camp is a grind. Training camp is quite the process, and you're tired, it's exhausting. But for me, having to watch more from the sideline early in camp and to not get all the reps, and it just allows me to come out here to be able to go from day one, take all the reps and not look back. It allows me to cherish it a lot more and not take it for granted, and which I'll still do at times, unfortunately. But just being able to be back out there with the guys working, mistakes are going to be made. Interceptions are going to be thrown, miscommunications, things are going to happen, but we're all doing this together. We're in it together. We're building together. And like you said, I feel like I'm back in my element, and I'm very thankful for it.
3 questions that are 180 degrees different from each other and different from this. I'm on Instagram, and I look at you on Instagram. You love your dogs. Mm-hmm. You are passionate about your dogs. You got 3 dogs.
Yep.
What is it about you and your dogs and your golden retrievers, and why Goldens, and why you're so loving of dogs?
Yeah, so I got my first Golden when I was in college, and I wanted a good hunting dog, and everyone else had a lab. And so for me, I just wanted to be different. I wanted to find something that I thought was a better looking dog, a better family-friendly pet, all those things. And so when I got my first Golden, I just loved her to death. She became, like my kid, my responsibility. I stopped playing video games. I stopped doing all that. Any free time I had, I spent, working, training, doing things with my dog. And now, ever since, I've just continued to fall more in love with the outdoors and hunting. And so being able to, incorporate my Golden Retrievers, take them duck hunting, goose hunting, pheasant hunting, whatever it is, and just working with them for those moments, it's just something I cherish, and they're amazing family pets to come home to. So extremely passionate about it. My wife and I treat them like they're our children. So we love them, and they're a lot of fun.
I remember when I met you the first time at the scouting combine, I found out something about you that I thought you were kind of embarrassed about, but you never got a B in your life. Every course that you ever took, elementary school, high school, college, you got A's in. So here's what I want to know. What aren't you really, really good at? Like, if I were to come in and grade your life, what would you get a B in that you were striving to be better?
A lot of things, really. For me, one of the biggest things is just this last season of life, just being married and trying to be a better husband every day. And I've been married now just over a year, and that was just a whole new life transition, life change. So just being a better husband is something I'm always trying to strive to be better at. And there's a lot of things. I don't sing real well, I don't dance real well, but that's why you don't see me do those things. So things that I don't do well at, I stay away from.
If you do the laundry at your house, like, do you leave the clothes in the dryer and make your wife fold them?
My wife is a champion. She does the laundry the majority of the time, so she's the best.
I'll end with this. So, is the NFL what you thought it would be when you were a kid in North Dakota? Because I remember the governor of North Dakota, who I talked to before you were drafted, he said, Carson has just handled this perfectly. Everybody in the state roots for Carson. Everybody knows who he is. He could walk in any town in the state and everybody would love him. So you go from that little insular place to now you're at this crazy place. So how has it been for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's been unbelievable. I think, as a kid, you dream of playing and you see it as just a game, but you go through high school and then college and you got guys from all over the place, and then you're building something together, but then it officially becomes a full-time job. Now you're in the NFL and you got guys from all over, and then you kind of think of it, you'd think it'd be more of maybe a business type. Guys are out to just get their money, collect the paycheck, play the game, go on. But that's probably been one of the most pleasant surprises for me. Is it truly is a brotherhood, it truly is a family, and I think going through training camp, going through off-season workouts allows you to bond with your teammates, and that's probably one of my favorite parts about this game in general is just the brotherhood and the camaraderie that it builds, and that holds true in the NFL. So that's been one of the most pleasant surprises for me. Is I'm still playing the game that I've always loved since I was a kid, but I'm also creating amazing relationships and friendships that'll last me forever at the same time.
Listen, have a great year and play 16.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.